Hey, all, welcome back to SLB Drinks. Today, we have our top 5 allocated bourbons of 2024. Took a lot of work to get down to these top 5. Did it not?
It's a tough job, but man, somebody's got to do it.
Yes,
it is a tough job.
Yes, it is. Every year, we have a tasting panel that helps us with our top 5 whiskeys and bourbons for the year. This was no different. We had myself, of course, Trent and his wife, Michelle, my brother Ken, and my good friend Justin. We all get together and we just battle it out to what makes it into the top 5. This year, too, we live streamed that process on Patreon. That was wild.
It was about 3.5 hours. It was nothing but drinking. We probably had, and we still don't have the best non-allocated. We were between like 7. We got to narrow that down. That was tough.
That was very tough.
But we had pizza. We had snacks. We was 3.5 hours of live stream, and we ended up
plenty of water.
We ended up coming out with the allocated.
Yeah.
And then non-allocated will be next week. But it was a good time.
I'm very happy with this list.
I don't know if you are. No, I'm thrilled.
And some of this may shock you. Now, what Trent and I decided to do, and this was a bit of a discussion too, but not everything was non-allocated. There's a little bit here, like a limited release or limited in some type or form.
Yeah.
So we'll get to it, and you'll understand as we go along here. I'll go ahead and start first, Trent. Coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 5 for us was the Heaven Hill 18 year. Heaven Hill 18 year. Now, I have to admit, I forgot all about this one. It's been sitting at your house, and you brought it out and set it on the kitchen counter upstairs, to be a part of the process. And I'm like, my God, I forgot all about that release.
I almost did too. The only reason I picked it up is because I thought I was going through some of the stuff that I have downstairs, which is just an absolute nightmare. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was the corn one, the 20-year corn one.
Yeah, that wouldn't have made it.
No. So I picked it up. I was like, no, this came out in 2023. And I looked at it and it said the 18. And I completely forgot. I don't even know where the box is.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, we got to put this in there.
Most definitely.
It wasn't initially on our list.
No.
But man.
Great. Outstanding.
I don't remember it being as good as it was when we ended up putting it in and trying it and everything. I remember saying in the video that the 17 was better. This is better than the 20, but the 20 was just 20-year mellow corn, so it's probably not going to beat it. But dude, this is good.
It was very good. A lot of beautiful brown sugary sweetness notes in there. It's just slight marshmallowy to me. It was a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah.
It was definitely going to be on my top 5, so I'm glad it made it. Who had it not in their top 5? Because it ended up in 5th. Did anybody? Did you remember?
Michelle or Justin, I think.
There was one that didn't.
Yeah, Kent had this in here, I believe. I did, you did. Mashent? Justin or Michelle? Didn't have it in there. It's Mashent. I'm thinking of Michelle and Kent. I hear though, and I'm excited for this, and it could be another disappointing for next year, but I believe they're coming out with a 19 this year.
Ooh,
part of their heritage kind of distillery thing. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully be able to.
Scooch that guy on down. All right.
We're going that way. There we go. Good idea. We're going to line them up 5-1. Perfect.
Right. All right. And this is why you'll see here in like 2 seconds why we chose to do like allocated and limited, because this distillery on their website has this under limited. And I don't know if it's the distribution is limited, if their production run was limited, a combination of both. We're just going based on what they say. Yep. Cedar Ridge Amontillado Sherry Finished Bourbon, 119 proof. This is release number 1.
Blown away. And I think you guys saw that on a previous video that we did where Trent and I were trying different whiskeys, a few that he had and a few that I had, to see, and I'll wait a little bit, to see if they were going to be worthy to be in the tastings for top 5s. I sipped that and I was amazed. And that's like a $60-$65 bottle.
Yeah.
That's what's insane. That Cedar Ridge Amontillado finish. We were discussing at the table, and I said it then again. It kind of edges for me as even somewhat savory a little bit.
It does.
There's some just wonderful notes that come off that Amontillado finish. It's just spectacular.
And I don't know anything about sherry. I know that I usually like sherry finishes, but a lot of times in bourbon as of late, it's kind of been a little bit more on the how do you say it? Like the sherry overpowers the bourbon. Mm-hmm. This is like a beautiful blend of both parts. It is a little bit umami-ish, I feel like.
Yes, perfect.
It's really rich from the sherry.
No doubt.
And it's just, it is the best of, it's the best what am I trying to say? Finished bourbon that I've had in a very long time, if not ever.
I can 100% agree with that. Though. That would be a task to take on if that would actually be the best finished product we've ever tasted. It's kind of hard to say right now. There's a lot of good ones. But
We'll try that next year.
I will guarantee you that'd be in the top 5.
This would be in the top.
I put $100 on that bar tab to say that. It's just that good. All right, moving on. Number 3 spot, we came up with the OCD 5 Premium. This is another one that's not necessarily allocated, but it's very limited. Yeah. They only have this every once in a while. And Trenton, I wanted, just for the folks out there, I want to read a little bit on the back label of the OCD Premium so they understand what Glens Creek does, their process is to get this bottle, and then you'll understand why it's somewhat limited. So at the bottom of every barrel of our OCD number 5 is a deep mix of charred wood and great bourbon. We reserve this small amount of very special bourbon and filter out the charcoal, which leaves an extra dark and smooth bourbon. We bottle it at barrel strength so that you can enjoy the full flavor. Seriously? I mean, seriously?
I wish more distilleries would kind of do that process.
What?
Like, this is motor oil, man.
It's
like
super dark, hand filtered, barrel strength.
What's the proof on this guy this year? 108 proof. I don't remember what the one was.
Kent's got it now.
Oh, that's right.
Kent's got it now.
I think last year was a little bit higher. But this is like just creamy.
Oh, definitely. Super viscous, creamy, and the flavor is rich and beautiful. It just is. It's just super rich and just lovely.
It's like a rich, dark chocolate cake with like espresso ganache or something.
Sure.
It's like,
perfect.
Dude.
Jeez, I don't know where you pulled that out from, but that's really pretty spot on. I always get a hint of marshmallow notes in there too.
That's a good one.
It's just lovely, and I can super appreciate, all their work and the process to come up with that bottle. I mean, that's why it's only there every so often.
2 years in a row, it's made it in the top 5 for Allocated.
Then there's a reason why.
It's the really 2-time.
All right, buddy, you're next. What we got for number 2? Coming number 2 in our tasting panel.
Next up, we got Maker's Mark Cellar Age 2024. Maker's has been doing absolutely fantastic stuff in our blinds. Mm-hmm. I think it just kind of outshined a lot of other heritage distilleries this year. I was even surprised by how many times Maker's had made it into our top 5 for blinds or in other videos that we've done. And I don't think that we've had a Maker's allocated or a limited release where we've said, that's just not that good.
Right.
They're just consistently really good. The heart release, the Unforgotten one, which I think after reading a couple comments was like a Costco barrel pick or something that they did. That was delicious, and they're just crushing it.
Yeah, I am thrilled beyond belief that Maker's Mark has started to come out with aged products, because that is just a beautiful, beautiful bourbon. And I think Fred Minnick might have had something to do with that, because I think he was pounding his pulpit for a while.
Oh, he was.
Asking for Maker's Mark to come out with some aged stuff. And I remember watching his review of the 2023, and he almost slinked out of his chair. It was that good for him.
I think he was tearing up a little bit.
I don't blame him.
If I'm thinking of it correctly.
He's got so much history, with everything that he does in the whiskey community, in the bourbon world. I wouldn't doubt that at all. It's just lovely juice. It really is. To me, that's like a quintessential, outstanding bourbon.
If they did put this out because of Fred, I hope they give him some sort of credit, because that's like the best thing to happen to the Maker's lineup in a long time.
Absolutely.
This is 85% 13-year, 15% 12-year. Just delicious. 119.3 proof. Unreal.
Just wonderful, wonderful stuff. This is the bottle, Trent, when we poured it. I mean, it's just, the aromas just emanate Rickhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, this bottle and having a glass, a Glen with some of this juice in it, just kind of puts me right in the center of a Rickhouse somewhere. It just does. So
I can completely get behind.
That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
Well, I know what you're pulling up next, so I got to get my.
Oh, you're getting ready for it? Okay, I don't know what you were reaching for. I was kind of waiting on you. This may not come as too much surprise to most folks, but however, keep in mind we have a tasting panel. This just isn't or wasn't my decision.
And I'm on the tasting panel.
And he also had it rated as number 1 on his list this year. Number 1, Allocated Bourbon for 2024, the Russell's Reserve 15-year. I mean, honestly, what could I say? Not cheap.
No.
As we know, a lot of the Wild Turkey products these days are not. They're limited releases. They're allocated whiskeys. They're not that price effective.
Okay? Yeah.
Let's get that out of the way. I think some folks can get this, have found this around $250.
That's the MSRP.
In our area, it's like $280s, you know? So not cheap. Not cheap. However, I am over the moon ecstatic that I was able to get one. You know, it took a while to get it up here.
Yeah.
To me, this is just me. I'm not the be-all, end-all of Wild Turkey. That's not me, but I do love the distillery. I love most everything that they do. I referred this during our live stream as a generational type release. I have this bottle here that Trenton somehow found. I had a pour of this in Arizona, and I absolutely fell in love with it. This is their 16-year Russell's bottle. No doubt in my mind that this one is better than this
Absolutely.
one. No question.
Absolutely. This, for me, and you know, I know we joke and have a lot of fun about the Wild Turkey at both of our expenses. I think it's not my go-to distillery. By no means is it my favorite distillery, but I am fully willing to admit when a distillery does something really good that, like, notoriously I might not be the biggest fan of. I've been very fortunate to try a lot of good stuff since we've been doing the channel, like Old Granddad from the 60s and like a Michter's 20 and like all this other stuff. This for me is probably top 5 pours that I've ever had, and it's almost better than Michter's 20.
Say it so.
Michter's 20 I think is in the 90 proofs. It's pretty low and it has a lot of flavor, and it's a 20-year.
For sure.
And that's like even more hyper allocated than this is. But there's something about this pour. This is like, it feels like vintage turkey stuff.
It does. It just screams vintage. A ripe old antique. You know, it just screams authentic, and just everything about it is just true blue, beautifully aged bourbon.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. It's just remarkable stuff. Very thankful that I had the opportunity to get one. They don't come by too easily, unfortunately. That's part of the problem. But I hope one day, you know, for all you folks out there that are watching the show, and like Trenton mentioned, we are extremely blessed and very fortunate and lucky that because of the channel and the platform we have, we're able to taste a lot of different things. But I truly hope and pray that a lot of you folks that really want even a pour of this will find it at some point in time, even in a bar or something, because as far as I am concerned, what we have on the bar top today for top 5 is awesome stuff. Allocated, whatever. This one's $60. Come on now, seriously, $65. So it's just kind of humbling to a certain extent too, to be able to put this list out here, but I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a ton of fun trying to come up with the top 5.
I'll also say if you folks are ever at a bar and you're lucky enough to kind of come across some of these for a decent price, honestly, I can say that after I've tasted the Russell's 15, I would, if it's like 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces, I would easily pay $50 for a pour of that.
Yeah, to have the
unreal.
To have that experience,
yeah,
for sure.
Well, this is our list for this year. Let us know what you think of the list. Let us know if there's any that are not on the list that you think should have made the list. I'd be very curious to hear that. I know there was. I think our 6th place was Coy Hill.
Yeah.
It just didn't quite cut the mustard compared to the other ones.
Yeah, there was a few that are right there that just didn't quite make it. And we had a lot. 2024 was kind of peppered with a lot of different allocated special things coming out. Could be good, could be bad. I know a lot of times I was kind of hollering about trying to get more regular type releases that are just a little bit more price efficient, but nonetheless. So this is our list. And hey, real quick before we sign off, one thing that we normally don't do every single year, we don't include BTAC releases and things like that. We just don't. Again, I will tell you, I feel as far as BTAC is concerned, at least most of them are probably the pinnacle, really, of bourbon and whiskey tasting. And they're just that good. But I was able to get one, Trent was able to get one, but they're not included on here.
Yeah.
They're not included. So
I still say, though, after trying your George T. Stagg, I don't think it made it up here.
Oh, even on the list at all?
I don't think it would have.
Yeah, I only had a tiny sip of it so far, and it was extremely hot.
It was very hot.
But good. Extremely hot, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
May not have.
We'll see.
May not have.
I'm not going to try. Next week we have the non-allocated, and we have, next week we have the whiskeys, overall whiskeys, and we have ryes. And we're doing separate videos.
Beautiful.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. I pulled 15 different ryes that I have to kind of attempt to filter down a couple. Because there were a lot of ryes this year. There were a lot of really solid ryes this year. I'm hoping that kind of continues into next year, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put the SAS 18. That's the BTAC that I was fortunate enough to get. Thank you, Harry. My BTAC is technically complete. I don't care about the WLWs or the Eagle Rare 17s.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
Yeah. So if you get the chance next year, that's all you, because I don't want them. But we'll see if the SAS 18 kind of makes the rise. If it does, it's not going to get included anyways, I don't think. But thanks again, Harry. But let us know what you think of these this list in the comments, and we'll see you Friday for a little blind.
Yeah,
I don't know what we're doing yet.
I have no idea, but it's early. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Always we ask you to please drink responsibly. See you next time, right down there with Trent and me in the good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.